You're all set. Have a good meeting.
It is 6:30 on July 23rd, and we call to order meeting of the select board. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
So
Moved by Ms. Conley, second by Mr. Gilmore. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. The Scituate Select Board is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask that all members interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community. We want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask that our committee members and everyone who participates to commit to these standards, to support and respect our community. And with that, do we have any walk-ins? Walk-ins. No, nobody's showing walking in, no one. So with that, I'll turn it over for the report of the town administrator.
Good afternoon, evening, sorry. I want to start by thanking Mike Michello, our IT department, Chief Thompson and Chief Donovan for their work last week in responding to the CrowdStrike. Town was impacted by that. Mike got a call about 1 o'clock in the morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, that took back the bottom line. Presented with nothing but blue screens. He responded, the chiefs responded, and Mike was able to call his team in. They were able to get dispatch up and running, and then get back and get the rest of the town up and running by mid-afternoon on Friday, which was fantastic. So thanks to Mike, really an outstanding job, and for us, really kind of the driver for what might happen in the worst circumstance. We'll be having some meetings over the next couple of weeks. See what we do better, how we need to respond better, what better plans we have. Really, for what they had to do, they did a great job getting us back in line Friday. Water update, cat cracking ponds -1, down from +1 last week. Reservoirs -8, which is down substantially from the +0.24 the previous week. Rainfall in the past 7 days is 0.23, measured at plant and demand was 1.682 million gallons per day, up slightly from last week of 1.627. Purple Dinosaur, the work is substantially complete. We did have our certification inspector go out there. There are some punch list items that need to be completed before we will get a certificate. Until we get that certificate, we will not be able to play around. I know the DPW and the inspector are trying to track down, get the contractor back out there. Really small stuff, won't take them that long. We're just gonna be back on site and get that done. Once it's done, we'll get the certification. RED is mobilized. We're gonna work on the tennis court project, construction, fencing, erosion control are up. The existing tennis courts are now gone. We'll start with the earthwork on the back of the site. We're gonna fit in that 5th tennis court. We've also had the drainage and base fill started to arrive this morning, so we've seen a lot of work out there. We have a site meeting tomorrow. I'll get a more in-depth update. I'll send it out to the board. Scheduled completion is October, November, weather dependent, and it's the top coat that goes off the tennis courts. That's the most weather dependent. Our goal is to have the majority of the concrete work done by the start of the school year, so we want to have concrete trucks going in and out of the schools in session. The Chief Justice Highway milling and paving is finished. Pavement marking is scheduled for tomorrow and Thursday. Again, that's going to be weather dependent. There's some rain in the forecast. That'll wrap that project up hopefully by the end of the week. We want to remind people the appliance rebate program has been extended for this fiscal year through 6/30/25. Rebates are available for qualified clothes washers and dishwashers that are ranked on the Energy Star Most Efficient 2023 on newer list. The website is energystar.gov. Also, qualifying toilets must be certified by the EPA. Details can be found on the EPA website, epa.gov/watersense/residential toilets. Applications, questions, you can get in touch with the water department, 545-8735. Library concert series continues. There are 2 more weeks for that every Wednesday in July, starting at 6:30. The weather permits, it's outside. If not, it'll be inside in the community room. We've got 2 more weeks for that. The Department of Public Health has informed the Scituate Board of Health that a mosquito pool tested in Scituate has tested positive for West Nile virus. A little early in the season for that. For information on that, go to the Board of Health webpage on the right-hand side news. You click on the link and get all the information. Suffice to say, use bug spray. Try to stay indoors as much as possible during most active times. You get more information on the Board of Health website. All our beaches are currently open based on the latest sampling. The water main contractor on Jericho Road has finished the installation of the water main. They've been began decoordination work this week, test the line, and then they'll be doing testing all week before it goes back online. With the decoordination and maybe some discolorization of water in the area, so please check and muddy water beforehand and before you do laundry. Again, any questions, call the water department, that should take it. It's not already done. I recommend this stuff. The decoordination on Jericho, done in, so a couple of days of that. So just check your water before you do any laundry. And then finally, the final reminder is the Lighthouse event, August 7th, 6:30 at the Lighthouse. We'll be turning the light back on and celebrating the work that we did at the Lighthouse. We'll get the details later on tonight, and we'll post those to our website for people to see. So you can plan for that event. Looks like it's gonna be a really good event. Expect to be a good crowd. So we'll get the update tonight, and we'll post those on the website. That's what I have tonight.
Excellent. Your question is,
What time is the site meeting for the test and beyond?
7:30 in the morning.
God. Glad I asked.
Before you volunteer.
Never know.
Yeah, I was just curious, where are we with the spend on the rebate? Are we still tracking? Where we get?
Yeah, the fiscal 24 funds have closed out, but now we're into the fiscal 25 budget, so we
Okay,
have a brand new pool.
oh, good. So we have.
Yeah, I have a question about 3A, so that's the way it's gonna look for the next couple of years. Cause it's kind of like one half of the road, I was imagining, dreaming of a nice road on 3A.
The state actually wanted us to repave curb to curb.
Yeah, that's not what happened.
It is on the water treatment project and the pipe project.
Yeah.
The responsibility for 3A is the Commonwealth's.
Okay.
So, we did not feel it was correct to put that burden on the Scituate ratepayers and taxpayers for something that fixed their road that's in bad shape. So now we'll lean on Senator O'Connor and Representative Kennedy to get the state to come up with these fixes, but we weren't gonna pay to go curb to curb and fix problems that they caused.
Right, you heard it here, folks.
They finally came out and did the work on restriping out front here. Again, took some prodding from our legislative delegation, put the new lines out with dedicated turn lines. Things like that, so we'll see how that works out, but that's been a long time coming, so. The two pats do a really good job helping us out, school soon.
As far as West Nile is concerned, my dog tested positive for tick-borne disease, not Lyme disease, but so folks, it's out there. Dogs are getting it, he gets all of his various pills and shots, and he gets it, but we got it anyway, so. You should take it serious.
long sleeves.
Yeah. He has to wear long sleeves.
What? Moving along.
For the dog walker, walking the dog, very much. Jen, I'm gonna put you, yeah, sorry, go ahead, go for it.
I got a couple calls on the beach parking. Can we clarify what the beach parking rules are as far as the line and lot? And I guess the question is, do we tow or don't we tow? Do we ticket, don't we ticket? There seemed to be a lot of confusion in the line and lot this week.
Do we tow?
Do we tow, like?
We generally don't tow.
We generally don't
Unless-
tow cars if they're blocking Cleveland.
Different issue, if someone calls the police and they can't get out, there's a public safety problem, blocking access, they will have to go. You gotta call the police for that, otherwise we usually just take it.
My understanding is the police was down there and trying to run around and find the people who move the cars, but I do think, and I've mentioned this before, that we need to increase the fees, for parking. It's currently still at $50, so maybe we can address that with some.
Well, that's right, ticketing using the license numbers.
They have some license plate
So you're
readers,
saying not even know you're getting ticketed.
no, you can print it out,
No,
it goes on the
you
top.
gotta
Goes on the car,
Okay.
Just a figure.
The issue really is if you got someone from out of town.
Yeah.
It's $350 for a sticker
And $50 for.
and $50 for a ticket, so I need to get 7 tickets before I equal the cost for a sticker. I don't go that often, so I'll just go there and risk getting the ticket, I'll spend it.
Yeah, the Beach Commission did recommend an increase, the last time we changed contract items for the beach fair. So I think they're gonna come before us again.
Are they come, do they
Yeah.
plan to come before us?
It is my understanding that they, like, I don't know if it's rec, it must be rec.
New record.
Yeah, recreation, I think, is,
Okay,
wants, they definitely agree with it. And we need to increase that.
And we're not in there ticketing all the time, I mean, the parking lot's empty, chances are the police aren't rolling through there, but on the weekends, when the lots are crowded, they definitely go through a couple times a day.
yeah, okay. All right, well, we will hopefully address that soon in
Yes.
our journal.
The other thing I did want to talk about, we've heard people loud and clear, but they don't hear us loud and clear. And Seth, who some of you already know, we're talking about the audio here for these meetings, and there's a lot of discussion about different mics and trying to do some different setups and things, so just to let folks know that we are working on that, to make sure that we can actually hear what's happening, so bear with us as we try out some new things and go from there. So with that, we will move on to our first agenda item, discuss and vote on a sewer extension, 0 Richfield Road. Mary Ann Gates.
Good evening, thank you.
How are you?
Well, thank you. How's everybody?
Good. Dog days of summer, I love it.
With the board's permission, I'd just like to personally hand everyone a copy of the betterment. I think that will be the subject of most of the discussion tonight. Thank you. Those are certified copies from the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds that I personally obtained. And they get blue highlights, and those are my edits. So I appreciate the opportunity to hand those out. And if I may proceed, Mr. Chairman.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Select Board. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Thank you for your time and service to the town. And I certainly appreciate your audience and discussion of this issue and hope for a reasonable solution that allows my building permit to move forward so that a single-family home can be built, brought online, and subsequently taxed in a manner that benefits the town's coffers, which is likely going to be 4 times the revenue that the town currently receives from an undeveloped lot. If anyone's looking for incentives. And I am seeking tonight injunctive relief from what I consider to be unduly burdensome, financially unjust condition recently suggested to me by the DPW Commissioner and the town administrator. By way of introduction and background, my name is Mary Ann Lewis. I am a practicing attorney in good standing in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I've been a lifelong resident of Scituate, registered voter, property taxpayer for over 40 years. Acquisition of what we should call, I guess, purposes of this discussion, 1 Richfield Road in May of 2020 was conducted in part by me upon reliance of a clean municipal lien certificate provided by the town, showing no betterments or any other outstanding monies owed. That also gets recorded at the Registry of Deeds and is typical for real estate transactions prior to conveyance of a deed. 1 Richfield Road is a buildable lot with no structure on it that has always been assessed and taxed as such. Years ago, long before any of us were in this room, or involved for that matter, when the town laid out the water and sewer lines for residential services homeowners on Richfield Road extension, as best as I can put it, they stopped short of 1 and 2 Richfield Road, including not completing an asphalt road, which to this day is still not complete. Nonetheless, the title examination revealed a recorded betterment that the previous owners were assessed and paid to the town, which is what I just provided. Included in that betterment were water mains, hydrants, and drainage facilities. And that's highlighted on the second page of that betterment. The dictionary meaning of sewer is, quote, a conduit for carrying off the drainage water and waste matter, end quote. In consultation with the DPW director and the town administrator on June 13, 2024, they insisted I would be responsible for incurring the expense of having an engineer draw up new plans showing a water line extension with a hydrant and a sewer line extension with a new manhole cover, as well as incurring the cost to build those items out and then pay a connection fee on top of it. It is my understanding that it is the town's responsibility to provide the necessary infrastructure up to the point that will allow a homeowner to connect. And if a betterment has been paid, then there is no connection or hookup fee. As conveyed to me at that June 13th meeting, it is the opinion of the DPW director and town administrator that the only best way to deliver clean water to that lot is an extension of the water line and installation of a new additional hydrant. Accordingly, I respectfully request that they do so. As for the history of the sewer line, number 2 Richfield was by permit, my understanding again, through conversations with the sewer department, allowed to buy off from the end of the sewer line at some point in the, I think, late 70s or early 80s. There is some disagreement as to the sewer fees paid and or owed, but suffice to say, whatever the verdict is on, your verdict is on my financial obligations regarding a sewer connection fee, I respectfully request that the town extend the sewer line and install the manhole cover that to date has not been completed and has been recommended by the DPW director. I would suggest, however, that the recorded betterment provided to you from 1985 satisfies my obligations on fees and betterments. However, in the interest of moving my project forward in a timely manner, I am open to a compromise. We are in the middle of summer and winter is coming, as they would say in the Game of Thrones. So I obviously have an interest in trying to resolve this in a timely fashion. The documentation that any of us are going to provide tonight is 39 to 47 years old. So no one is around that may add perspective to intentions back then. But sewer betterment fees back then ranged from $540 to $840. Sewer connection fee was $5,000 from 1985 to 2012. And the water connection meter fee was $1,800. I might also suggest that as you deliberate, that you consider that this situation is unique and in no way will be precedent setting, in my opinion, as it involves a paid betterment for improvements that the town didn't complete. Therefore, it deprived the property owner at any point the ability to exercise certain options. Thank you for your attention to this matter and your deliberation of this matter, and if I can answer any questions, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you. I think the operative word, anytime these sorts of things come in front of us, there always seems to be unique situations, and frankly, some of our expertise, my expertise is not always in some of these different areas. You always have to look at everyone else around us and compromise. My mind is that we all leave here a little bit unhappy. You know, it's the art of slicing the cake and hoping everybody thinks they got the biggest piece. So we're gonna go forth and see how we know what we don't know. Some of this is as clear as mud to me. Others are much more simple and straightforward. But I do, so this has been a conversation with yourself and the town and Jim. I don't know if you want to say what the position had been up. What, yeah, how are we here? What are we here? What's the position that we would?
So a couple things, on the betterment, there were 2 betterments issued for the properties on Richfield Lane. One was a betterment that Ms. Lewis just went over, which was for the taking of the road. There was a separate betterment that was issued for the sewer. That betterment was not assessed on this lot because the sewer line did not run to this lot. So it wouldn't have shown up as an outstanding betterment or a paid betterment because it was not actually assessed. There was no sewer line down there. The first reason that she has to be here this evening is this is an extension of the sewer line. The sewer line does not run to the property in question. Therefore, the board has to approve the extension of the sewer line. That within the last month and a half for property on Lincoln Lane. They would give a permission to extend the sewer line to a property that had a failed septic system. There was storage on the street, did not run to the end of the street. So the applicant was given permission to extend the sewer line, which they are in the process of doing. They engineered it, they paid for it, they will put in a manhole cover. And then later on this evening, you will actually have an application for a different house further up to connect into that extension that we just approved several weeks ago, because that house now has a septic system that is a failure, and the sewer is not run by that property. So these aren't requirements that we haven't put in any other property owner, any other property. Will is here for the sewer department. These are our standard requirements. If we bring the sewer line, that there be a manhole cover so that if there's a blockage or anything that we need to get in, there's no manhole cover at the end, we can't get into that blockage, we can't clean that line. So those are requirements we put on other people. The hydrant is a dead-end line. The town is spending thousands of dollars going around town installing hydrants. I did meet with Ms. Lewis yesterday. I expressed to her that the town will provide the hydrant. It's about a $4,000 piece of equipment right now, what we're paying for those. But if the hydrant isn't put in, we will come back later and put the hydrant in because we won't be able to flush the end of that line. The planning board rules and regulations are a hydrant every 300 feet. So if you have a 500-foot cul-de-sac, the hydrant 300 feet in from the connecting street, and then those last 200 feet have nothing. Water quality in those areas is visible. Again, we've been putting water, Eric Langland, the water superintendent is here. We wanted to talk about those. We've done several water projects in the past several months. Requirements have been the same. They put in the line, they put in the hydrant, and all the other requirements of the water department. The reason for those is so that 5-10 years from now, the town is not stuck with issues because something wasn't done correctly. So we had those discussions. We tend to disagree. The other water commissioners, the other sewer commissioners, it's ultimately your decision. I think that's why we're here. I don't think I missed anything, Mary Ann.
Excuse me. No, I would just, add that, to distinguish this, whatever you just talked about, those other examples, were existing homes on a lot. So that did not change the tax base for the town. They were being taxed as a single family home on the lot. I would suggest that there is more incentive here because the tax rate's gonna change, probably quadruple, and that will be a financial win for the town.
Primarily because the town did not incur the cost of extending those lines. It was done by the
And then, this is for clarification, so you're saying there's those two different betterments, and then I want to go through all the different fees and costs. So you're saying, Jim, that the betterment was not necessarily for sewer, and there's some disagreement, yes or no, or sewer, but there was a betterment for the taking of the road.
There were two betterments. One was for the sewer and one was for the taking of the road.
The road that does not go in front of the lot.
It doesn't go the full width of the lot. It
Full width.
goes 30 feet, maybe.
15 measured it this morning.
I was down there today. I don't measure well.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't run the full length of the house, of the lot size.
It's supposed to go the full length, not
The drawing shows it going the full length of the lot, which was submitted, whatever the date is.
The drawing shows the
Street
way,
acceptance 1985, shows it going all the way past the lot.
it shows the way going, it doesn't show the surface, it just shows the way.
It does not, correct.
So, okay, so I just don't like, they're betterment for a road. What is that? Again, I'm trying to be clear and simple.
If I may,
How far is this supposed to go?
if I may, Mr. Chairman, on page 4 of the betterment that I provided to you, highlighted, second paragraph from the bottom, it articulates exactly where it's supposed to go. 84 feet.
It doesn't have any measure to see if it does or does not, or
There's 84 feet of frontage,
Correct.
but there's not 84 feet of asphalt. So we are taking the layout, that's what we take, anything that are in the layout. Whether it's paved or not paved, we take the layout.
So if we could start from the beginning here, we have a lot of private ways in town. And over the years, people have decided that it would be worth their while to have their private way become a public way. In order to do that, they have to adhere to whatever the requirements for the town had at the time. It had to be accepted by town meeting. There were engineered drawings done. This road was accepted. But it seems as though it stopped. The improvements to bring that road up to town standards stopped before these two lots had been met. So my question is, why did the town stop? And I know there's probably none of your who can read minds then, but you know, to be honest with you, if there are two lots that have not been occupied, not built on, no one's been, I assume, paying much attention. But in the case of these two lots, at least this lot, the betterment, that's what you call it, for street acceptance is paid.
But the town, most likely, again, I was 10, I think this was done. The town most likely did not construct the road. The town took the road and the layout as it was constructed.
And who constructed?
It would have been whoever developed the streets. Whoever built the houses and developed the street would put the road, generally. That's what happened.
But we don't know that.
I wouldn't have enough time to spend in the archives to try to find it.
No, I know.
But the
but
town
I
took the
mean,
road in the condition that it's in now. That's what we took, that's what we paid for. I would argue,
the town only accepts the road if it's brought up to town standards, right?
now, yes, I don't know what they did back then. If we were accepting a road now, you would have to bring the road up. If the road was in bad condition, we would make you pave it, bring it up to standard.
Exactly, I
Before
mean,
we took it, I can't tell you what they did back then, what condition the road was in, it's taken. But I would say it's really not germane to the subject because that's the betterment for that, and my argument is it's a separate betterment for the sewer, and we're talking about the sewer, not the road.
well, but if this lot pays you better, that first better, why wouldn't they enjoy the benefits of the water line being extended up? And I know that the planning board probably changed over the years in terms of what they were requiring, hydrants and all that stuff.
We took the betterment for what was there. Whatever was in the road at the time, that's what we take. Take the road and the structures underneath it. The water, the drainage, things like that. That's what we take. So the water line, for whatever reason, the water line wasn't made to be extended, wasn't required to be extended, and it wasn't extended. Because there were no homes on those two lots down the end. So when it was put in, they both stopped and the last house is on the street.
And
But
so
they were assessed as equal as everybody else.
Jamie, I can't get into why that happened. Usually your betterment assessment is based on your frontage. So if you have a lot on a street and we put a sewer by it, you get assessed for that even if you have no house on the lot. It doesn't matter the value of your house or the value of the lot, it's based upon the number of lots. So
I think I would like to know, this isn't sounding to me like it was a developer that developed all these houses at all at the same time. This sounds to me as though we've had people come in wanting to explore, we're on a private way down in Hummerock, we want to have the street accepted, and then when they find out what it's gonna cost them, they go, oh, get it. But there's evidence here, I believe, that people did contribute money as the homeowners to the street acceptance process.
correct, but that is not what is before you tonight. What is before you tonight is the extension of the sewer line and the connection to the water line.
Well, I think it's two things. I think you're telling them they have to put in the hydrant. And that's a water line. And the sewer line, I understand, and I think that this homeowner would be, have to pay the betterment for the hookup. Because it has to be paid because there wasn't a hookup. So, I think there's a couple of different things going on.
So let's talk about all the different decisions, sorry, before we get too far. So, as we said, what's in front of us tonight? Number one, we have to decide whether or not we even allow the connection to extend the line. So number one, we gotta figure out if we're gonna extend the line. Number two, I wanna talk about all the different fees and what's paid, not paid, and who's responsible for what, right? That's really what we're talking about. So the next thing we have to talk about would be we have sewer hookup fee. Then there's a sewer possible betterment, but
What are you calling it, sorry?
Connection fee.
Connection, that's not a hookup fee?
Same, connection fee.
So it's not a hookup fee.
extend the line to sewer hookup fee. 3, water hookup fee. Okay, all right, so those are extend the line, sewer hookup fee, water hookup.
But it sounds like water line has to be extended as well.
With the hydrant.
With the hydrant,
So then we have, hold on, the fire hydrant, which looks like this payment of that, but who's gonna install it? We have the water line to the property, sewer line to the property. Am I missing anything? Extend the line, sewer hookup, water hookup, fire, but who's gonna extend it? Fire hydrant. Water line to the property, sewer line to the property. Am I missing anything? Oh, the asphalt and the manhole cover. All right, just 1 second. Yes, your fee for the wall.
I think that's what you mean by the water hookups.
This is a connection fee in a meter.
Just pay the fee.
Right.
I'm not sure the board has met Eric before, like, a lot of superintendent. So most of that.
We have his number.
Will's over there, Will Brandon, source superintendent, so for the actual mechanics of what they're looking for, I can't answer them. It's beyond mine.
So those are all the different things we're talking about. Is that,
That's
I
the
believe
list.
so, I'm not sure, but is the water connection fee and the meter fee the same? Or
no,
those two separate things there? Okay.
so I'm gonna open this up to the board before I get to.
Well, I'd rather take this a chunk at a time, so if we want to talk about, do we want to approve the extensions? I just looking at the drawings, because I don't see why it wasn't ever done.
So that's a good way to start.
Drawings those 2 lots for years from being able to be built on.
Right, we
Unless
also
you want to
get,
build a tiny little lot, that we talked, and put a
Septic system.
septic system, but you still need to run the water line. And so I think that should just, that's like, hello. I'd like to increase the tax base, kind of let the property owner build the house they want to build.
all right, so that is kind of the first question, right? You can tell them, you say, all right, you're gonna have to build septic and the other ones are perfect.
You almost have to come backwards, because your approval for the extension of the sewer line is proving it based upon the conditions imposed by the sewer department. So, now I'm confusing, but the sewer department's gonna have to know what conditions you want, if not the ones that they're gonna impose. That be accurate, Will? So if
That's
you,
how we do it with other ones,
It
where they
makes
come
us-
with a plan and they can say they can either go
so
this way
the
or
approval
that
for the
way.
extension is approved to extend the sewer line, subject to the approval of the plan by the
Yeah.
sewer department. So if the sewer department says, you have to put in a manhole, and the board doesn't think a manhole is required, before you approve it, I think we need to.
I was just trying to get something to see if we're going down the right path. There's,
So I think that on the question of whether we should extend the sewer line, as long as it meets conditions, separate from the fact that who pays for what, that whole thing. I think that the argument is very clear that in the best interest of the town to add this lot to the sewer system as a buildable lot. So that piece of it is pretty easy to figure out. It's like, yes, it should be extended. So that's number one hope. That one. In the backup, it looks like, well, all right, we'll just hear it. So, question number one, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, no,
We have
I understand what you're saying, but we all,
that.
There's
There's
right,
where
it's
we
like
can say-
after you figure it all
Okay.
out, do you vote for that? So
I don't think there's any
There's
argument
no-
about extending
yeah,
the
there's
sewer
no
line.
argument about
I don't have the
extending it.
authority to do
Argument
that, that
is
has
who-
to come to you regardless.
Argument is who should pay based on the information that we have. We have this document, and then we also have another betterment specific to sewer. So this is your road betterment. This is where the town went and took the road and every tree on it. And then on
1985.
this is
Looks like.
85 and 77, there was a sewer betterment.
And then- 77 was the easement. And
Right.
85 was the sewer.
So this, in the sewer, it looks like it was not assessed for this property. So if there was no betterment paid for sewer, then there was no betterment paid for sewer on this property, is what I'm looking at. Is that accurate?
If I may,
Sure.
thank you. So, being an attorney, we're trained to argue several different theories. And given the fact that we don't have, the individuals that were involved in this process around to sort of shed light on it, I would submit two things. Number one, on page 2 of that, paragraph 2, in the taking, it wasn't just the roadway. It says water mains, hydrants, and drainage facilities, and that's highlighted. For which there was an assessment, so I would submit to you that the 1985 betterment supersedes and trumps an earlier document of 77. Notwithstanding that, it makes no sense, assuming you even want to reference the 77 one and give that an ounce of credibility versus, the superseding document. It makes no sense to me because the lot never had a structure on it. So to assess someone a betterment for a roadway, water mains, hydrants in 1985 and not assess them in 1977, I think was a mistake by the town. So it's, if they weren't assessed in 77, they should have been, but that was not any fault of the property owners. That was the fault of whatever the policy was. In 85, they come in with a superseding document and it's a broader contemplation of a betterment. I disagree respectfully with Mr. Bedrow that it was sort of simply the taking of the road, but irrespective of where you have a broader or a more narrow definition, the town did not fulfill its obligation on any improvement on any aspect, except for 14 feet that I measured of the 84th frontage of that lot this morning, which is just asphalt. So I'd ask you to contemplate that as you.
Chair. That's a good question. I'm looking at the road plan that shows the sewer not completed all the way. And I'm looking at the highlighted yellow lot, which is, this is Miss Lewis's spot. There's a lot across the street that looks like there is a structure. How is that hooked up?
Good question. At some point in the 70s, they made a line that connected to the sewer.
If I may, I don't think they paid,
I don't think they paid anything.
they didn't pay anything, but they were permitted. They paid $50 for the permit.
So that house is on sewer.
That house was on sewer with no connection fee, no hookup fee, no betterment, same situation, $50 permit fee. Pulled by the plumber that did it.
What's the name on that? It's Shay.
Shay.
They paid a betterment of $680
Under the.
under the 1977. They paid a betterment. Shay. So they were hooked up. I completely
No,
agree.
okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down, it says no.
Yeah, but we're further down to the bottom of the page, right?
That's a different
That's
shed.
a different Shay.
A lot of shitty.
Yeah, I don't believe they paid it, that.
So
Whoever was there
Robert
at the
paid
time still on it.
twice, so they have Robert.
Well, I think probably someone determined that the 1985 betterment contemplated sewer. That's what I think happened, and they were allowed to buy off with $50 permit.
So that's. So on the category of hookup fees. What was charged at prior to the current policy?
Up till 2012.
Yeah, we've adjusted the sewer fees because to hook up to our sewer system now costs a different amount of money. So it's, yeah, and our capacity is lower and all of that. So to have the benefit of that service, there's a hookup fee. And I feel like that, and discussed it, is that is cost of, that is the cost of the benefit of using the sewer system. So I don't think that, you know, whether or not next spring was paid prior to the current, you know, current policy didn't pay, I don't think it's relevant to this conversation. I think anybody, when we're talking to two other people tonight, who needs to look up and gets approval, is gonna have to pay that fee for the privilege of using our services, because they cost.
Could I ask, but, so you're saying if the sewer was available in front of their house, there's a fee to hook up?
100%.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
if the, even if the line were right in front of your house, and you paid a betterment and never hooked up, you would be required to pay the $16, correct?
Is that correct? Well, no, you paid the
Oh,
better.
no.
Not if
Paid
they
the
pay
better.
betterment.
Paid the
If you
betterment.
I take that back.
You do not have to pay them.
Right, so my street, I bought my house that had a betterment, because I didn't have a house payment for the house. I would be entitled to, I would pay for the hookup,
You have to pay to hook the house up.
but I wouldn't pay for, because you don't.
No, if I believe that this property had paid the soil betterment, then there'd be no tax fee, it would be an issue.
There's no connection to
But I've looked at it, I had counsel look at it briefly, he thinks they're two separate benefits.
And in that case, if we were to go that route, this Lewis would pay to make that connection, whatever that costs. So what else that connection?
But if I may, if you're thinking that way,
No, I
When-
just wanna understand all of the
and again, I would.
whack-a-balls and stuff.
Right, and if there's any precedent on this, it's the house across the street. So someone at some point decided that a betterment had been paid and therefore a connection fee wasn't owed. And I
Or
was,
was
Or they just made a mistake,
or there wasn't a,
It's something like that.
well, I think they
or
were,
there was no.
well, it was registered in the office, so it wasn't like a, we can worry if payment did it. But again, I would suggest that if you're thinking that way, that the appropriate timeframe to put that connection fee in would be in 1985, when this was, or even predating that, which was probably, right? I mean, the betterment fee, which probably should have been assessed in 77, but was, I would suggest, is trumped by the 85 betterment. Because it's not like there was a house on it in 85 and they decided to charge it a betterment. Nothing had changed. Thank you, sorry.
Yeah, it's,
Maybe let's not bring it up.
talking about documents that are 4 years old, the 80s, 70s. All right. I'd like to get the temperature of the board, what we're thinking for, we're talking
Well,
sewer connection fees.
I think the fundamental question is, do we think that the betterment was assessed? That's probably the root. And you said you spoke with counsel on the document?
He said they thought they were two separate benefits.
Yes. We've never vetted it all. And so that the 1985 didn't indicate that a sewer betterment had been paid.
But that's the finding you have, and that's not precedent set, because you made a conclusion that it's already been paid.
But
then how do you make the argument that some people paid the $540 in the '70s and then also paid the $846?
Right.
How do you make that argument?
I'm
Like,
not saying you can, I'm just saying that the decisions that you believe the betterment, the second betterment superseded the first, then that's an argument that doesn't apply to everybody else who comes in and says, I want to hook up the soil, I shouldn't pay fee.
So I don't think we're gonna get complete clarity. We're dragging on. So we have to make some decisions.
I agree. I think there should be a compromise.
All right.
I'm still confused with, maybe we should see what,
May I make a suggestion
yes, you can, of course you
for a
can.
global resolution?
Sure.
Because the calendar is ticking. I think what would be a fair proposition that is not precedent setting. I don't think, minus the individuals that were involved in all these policies, 40 years ago. We're not gonna get clarity, complete clarity to anyone's satisfaction regarding this issue, and consequently, that's why I do think it's truly unique. People can come in here and say it's unique, but we've got conflicting documents, we've got superseding documents, we have different definitions, some that entertain, the 85 one specifically says drainage facilities. But in the interest of moving my project forward, I think what would be a fair and reasonable resolution is if the town finished the job, which is they build out the water and sewer lines, extensions, add whatever hydrants they want to whatever specifications that they want. And I'm gonna kick myself for saying this, and then I pay a connection fee for both at the 1985 rate. Which I think is more than, I would argue, more than I'm obligated to do, but I think it brings us to a global resolution that allows me to move my project forward. And it also, the incentive the town has is you are increasing your tax basis and the coffers by a considerable amount of money. And so it's a win-win.
So we have proposal on the table. Jim, yes.
I mean, I can't agree to have the town put in that infrastructure, because it is precedent setting. We have two more projects before you tonight that we'll be putting in their infrastructure. It doesn't have anything to do with the taxes that are generated, because the one we gave Stuart 2 months ago, he can tear that down and build a new house. These water and sewer departments do not have the ability of the funds to stop putting in all this infrastructure. We haven't done it in the 6.5 years I've been here. Will, do you think of any time when we've done it? Yeah. Eric? And that is precedent set. And you will be faced, everybody who wants to extend the sewer, to have you pay for it.
People that have paid betterments,
Anybody.
well, I mean, that's a distinguishing characteristic. If the property owner has paid betterment,
So you said I can make a distinguishing characteristic for any of the properties I come in on this board.
So when we sewer, and let's just take it back, let's take it out of this, right, so when we sewer North Situate, we're gonna do. Town's gonna put in infrastructure. And we're gonna put in infrastructure up and down, the roads all the way over there. All those properties, okay, go the hookup fee.
No, it'll be assessed a betterment.
And, or it's better.
Just a betterment. It'll be assessed a betterment when the sewer is put in front of their house, they'll be assessed a betterment.
Good no. And all that infrastructure, towns putting in,
And they pay for it.
all right up to the property line or not up the line.
But it stops really goes to the property line.
Well, I also provided.
And I was right. So you don't have to connect the sewers by your house, you have to pay it back.
It's right there.
But that betterment is a 30-year betterment, what is that?
20.
20-year.
If they choose that, they pay it
They
off.
can pay it off. It does go with the property now before you have to pay it off if you sell the house, now it goes in the
And once they pay that betterment, there's no connection fee, right?
connection fee.
Which again, I would suggest to the board that betterment's been paid.
Right, which is, well, my point was, if you believe the betterment's been paid, then there is no connection fee. That is the board's decision, not to say, we will pay to put in that infrastructure.
So if we believe the betterment's been paid, why do we believe 80% of the people on that road paid it twice? If we truly believe the betterment was paid.
Right, we're two
I'm
separate.
just asking that question. Because there's a list of $800 betterments paid and then a list of $500 betterments. Because there are two betterments.
Right, and this property only.
This property paid the one as well as, I don't know, a couple other property. It's hard to track because there's different owners.
Yeah, I think the
Somebody
argument
named Griffin.
stands more that the betterment is for the water line. I don't. We can argue all day about what the definition of drainage is, but if the document, the proceeding document says no sewer was paid, to me, the sewer line wasn't extended there, it's not extended there. The water line does come a little bit into your property as it is, so to me, the betterment, that, I think to your point, to me, the documentation looks like the betterment for what, well, we don't pay, we don't charge betterment for ours. So what is
This was the street.
Is the taking of the street.
And that was
Okay, sorry,
the
Yeah.
infrastructure.
it's the infrastructure.
Or paid,
Or
right,
they,
paid once and
or
half
they
and did it,
decided,
and did it.
or the
We
town
don't know.
decided to do it twice.
All right.
Or
We're gonna be here all night.
You shouldn't have to be here all night. I don't see why the current property holder should be totally not considered because of the confusion of our 35 years worth of documents and misunderstandings and communication. Let's move forward. Let's do some compromise that makes it acceptable to property owner as well. That's what I'm suggesting.
So I will suggest that it seems fair to me that the owner should pay the current hookup fee for sewer. Because if you were building a new house today, you were on a road that had sewer in front of it, you'd have to figure it out. And it seems to me as though, and to have to pay the current water meter rate, which is high. And then the town should bear the responsibility for getting the lines in front of the house and paying for the manhole and paying for the hydrant.
All right.
But if I may,
Yeah.
the betterment, when you pay a betterment, which this property paid the betterment, then you're not subject to connection fees. So
Yeah, I
the
understand.
85 betterment talks specifically about water, hydrants, mains, and drainage fees. The thing that I think is really confusing, to your point, Selectwoman Harrison, is if the town in 77, the town should have, whether or not you hook up to a sewer does not dictate whether or not you're subject to a betterment. If something comes down the street, you pay the betterment. So the town erred, if you believe that they were supposed to be, it was the town that erred, not the property owner, on the betterment. And therefore, were deprived of exercising options. And that was a result of a mistake by the town. And again, no players that are on the field today, but it just, in 1985, which I suggest is a superseding document to 77. But if you want to reference 77,
Then we've got 1997. We've got betterments paid in 1997,
What is count, what did town council
sewer
think
betterments.
that the betterment was for?
Said there was a sewer betterment, the second betterment was the taking of the road. town had every right to charge a connection fee. If there was no mistake on the sewer betterment, there's no betterment that does not go by your property.
Right.
And now the mistake could have been, they should have extended the sewer line to the end of the street and assessed the betterment at the time. They did not. Using Ms. Campbell's example, if the sewer line on Surfside stopped before her house, she would not be assessed the betterment. It did not go past her property.
And they probably didn't do it because the lots were small, and back then it was a different requirement for building.
There wasn't anything.
It was a different lot size, and then they changed the lot size, and then they both became buildable.
Well, not to mention, no one's gonna raise their hand and say, oh,
Right,
by the way.
Well, they never
I guess-
finished, they
I guess
never
what
even
I'm-
finished the street.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to get to here is that, you know, we have the cost of the sewer connection. That I don't think it'd be fair for you to not have to pay a sewer hookup that everyone here in town is currently paying if they're building a new house or tearing down a house and doing that. And it's unfortunate that building that infrastructure was so much less expensive 40 years ago or 30 years ago, but the reality is there is that. And that should go some way toward doing what the town should do and should have done originally, and that is to complete the street that it accepted. And people pay the amendment for it, including the property that you have.
Awesome. So, select would probably summarize, so I guess your proposal here is that the town would be responsible to extend the sewer and water line to the property,
Right.
but pay,
And pay for the manhole pay
and
for the-
and for the town to pay for the manhole
and the hydrant.
and hydrant.
And the homeowner pays for the water meter, which is.
For the
it's a
current,
cost you have to
for the
pay.
current water hookup fee, sewer hookup fee, and meter fee.
Yeah.
Is that
That's my proposal.
So what were those costs? Current costs, I don't know.
water, 6,500, yeah, 16,000, water hookup is what, 6,500? What was that?
Is that?
14.
What is it?
And meter?
14,000.
Meters, 5,000.
500.
What is it again?
So it's 14,000 for the sewer hookup.
Is that per
16,
building
I'm
or is
sorry.
that per, insurance, a water hookup?
Yeah,
So like when-
sewer.
Those things.
Oh, I'm saying water
Conversation we had a few meetings ago, multi-bid.
Right.
All right, so I still haven't heard
Right.
the exact numbers, sorry. Somebody wanna give me the exact?
Sewer is 16 and water is 14, is that correct? And the meter is $500.
Right.
And the town, I'm suggesting,
Should pay for everything else.
so the water line, the sewer line,
The
manhole cover,
and
This is
the
like major precedent, so just so we know.
Well, just to,
You all can vote. for
point
it.
of clarification,
I will not vote. for it.
okay, that's fine.
It's fine with me.
I can ask you
There's
to.
no way.
Okay, if we,
We can't afford this,
If
vote.
we
This
were-
town cannot afford the vote. And I will
if we were, we thought, yes, there was a water, drainage system, just on water, we think the, I just thought it all through my head.
I'm saying, this,
Oh, I read this.
you can't ask the ratepayers, the water and the sewer, to pay to bring the services to this property. It's not fair to them. We will be doing this on every single homeowner is gonna come in and ask for the same relief,
And they should.
regardless of whether it's the same circumstances or not.
So, I guess I gotta kind of straighten that. So let's say the water and the sewer line went, you had the street in front of your house, water and sewer line went, ended at the end of the street. The only conversation we'll be having is, do you have to pay a connection fee based on these documents?
Based on if we
And-
believe these documents are evidence of a better. pay.
Right, one word, that would be the one thing, and then if that was resolved, then the homeowner would pay to bring it all the way to the line in the street, not to the property line. So like, we wouldn't, if there's no stuff there, would they have to figure out engineering and the connection?
Yeah.
But again, if a betterment was paid, we would be paying a connection fee.
Right, which is separate.
Right.
Which is, yeah, I mean,
Pays from point A to point B.
But if we're
And that's
having.
what you're proposing, is we pay from point A to point B. That infrastructure. It never was completed to begin with. There was no complete, for whatever reason. it was never completed.
do we as a board believe that some betterment was paid at some point?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay, so there's some betterment, so the betterment, it seems like the tentative board, the betterment likely was for a road, not water, even, we don't know. Oh, just a road, that's
So we
not there.
could take the.
The taking of all trees and structures, water
Including water
mains,
mains,
hydrants,
hydrants.
existing water mains, hydrants, and drainage systems, standing upon or located upon land affixed to this.
So the town now, as nineteen eighty-five, we said, we own the power line, we own that infrastructure. That's what that document says.
It says we own
And
the street.
we, for better or
For better or worse, we own it, whether we've maintained it or not is a different story, whether we've plowed it enough is a different story, but we own it.
But I
Is
would
what it says.
suggest because it wasn't improved, which the betterment was assessed to have it be improved, that the property owner did not, was deprived of the right to exercise any of those options, which is why I would encourage fee structure that mimics 85 and not 2000.
Then the argument would be we should go finish the road,
I mean, we can,
that would be the argument, we should go finish.
yeah,
paving
we'll
the
go
road.
finish the road, all we do is pave it, period. That's the argument.
Right, we didn't pay, that easement, there was money, that was the betterment for the easement. Of the existing conditions, it wasn't for improvements.
We took what was there.
What was there and what was there was not for the services.
This was a street acceptance article at the time meeting, correct? And street acceptance, as far as I know or understand it, means that whatever street we accept has to be brought up to whatever the standards were at the time. Maybe dirt roads were the standard at the time, I don't know. But it seems to me as though paving was done to a certain point and not continued.
That's what we took, accepted as a public way. But if the argument is that the road should be finished, then that's a separate argument that we should pay for the water and sewer infrastructure to be extended. Whole different argument.
Well, then what did the property owner pay for as a betterment? What did they get for it?
We took the road, maintenance of the road, whatever plowing we do out there, and the maintenance and upkeep of anything underneath. Water, the drainage.
But they pay for it, but there's nothing underneath
As
it.
is.
That's it.
I would
They-
suggest that the
they have
town
to-
saved a
that
lot of
lot is
money
a-
over the last,
Well, that's my only concern, if you pay for something that's underneath it, and a road that's not there, that doesn't come. Exactly, what am I paying for if there's nothing underneath there?
And they paid the
Why
same
would I
thing
pay?
as everybody else.
The same for the land.
You'd pay the betterment if I took a street that didn't have sewer on it at all.
Doesn't mean you don't put the sewer.
It's a separate argument.
Again, we've created another precedent, of every street we take, we have to put sewer.
No, you don't have to put it on, it's already there.
If it
Except for that.
wasn't- if it-
We asked for all the way around this yard.
Poor people are, they're like, what are we doing?
Well, what are we gonna do?
Sorry, you're resisting.
No, I think that, if she's paid, if the house, property's paid the betterment, you got one side and the other side, where do you want to come down? The house needs to have water and a sewer hookup in the design that it's there, for the value of the investments. The way it is. So where do you want to, which side do you want to come down on?
I would also argue that the property was purchased in the existing condition. So I would assume that it was valued at the existing conditions for this area. I don't know, I don't know what to pay for it, or it's,
the town issued a clean municipal lien certificate showing no outstanding monies owed. It has nothing to do with conditions.
we're not talking about anybody's owed on the So you're talking about improving the property,
A betterment was paid
right, well,
with the standards of conditions. Now, if, I think that we in 85, 77, and 2024, I think that we would all agree that what would make a property habitable is having water and sewer involved in.
right, but that can be an extension of service. It's not, we're talking in terms, but what I'm saying is there's plenty of lots, there used to be plenty of lots to be developed. Not all of them were in the middle of the street, at the end of the street. And this conversation, and we'll probably have that on, like 3 different people that come in, that own larger lots of the cul-de-sacs that weren't set up. And we have this conversation. If you subdivide it, then you have, yes, one problem with the betterment, but then you've got 3 lots, those lots did not pay. It's very different, but what I'm saying is that lot, you're right, there was no encumbrance on it. We're all working on whether or not what the betterment there was paid, what it was for. But to get those services, they both have to be extended to your lot, because they're not there now. If you bought that property knowing the water lines didn't come to your house.
No, I did not buy the property knowing the water line didn't come to the house, but if you're talking about precedent here, then the precedent would be what happened at number 2, and number 2 did not pay the connection fee.
Right.
So somebody at some point determined that this betterment from 1985 satisfied that. That's the precedent.
Or,
Yes,
But that is the precedent. The other part of that precedent was number 2 paid for that hookup. They put in the infrastructure, the town. If you're gonna take the one precedent and say, betterment was paid, they didn't get assessed the hookup fee, you have to take the other precedent that they paid for the cost of connecting that sewer. Can't pick and choose.
Okay, so your suggestion would be that Lewis pays for the infrastructure, but not other.
What I said to the board before, thing that is not precedent setting would be for the board to make a determination that they believe betterment has already been satisfied, therefore there is no connection fee. That would not be precedent setting because you have documentation here that you believe satisfies the betterment requirement. So someone else would have to come in with the exact same set of circumstances. I paid a betterment, I should pay a connection. I believe that is the non-precedent setting solution, for lack of a better way of putting it.
All right, let's,
But the infrastructure would be
her responsibility.
her responsibility.
and that would be paid connection fees.
right.
I have no idea what those numbers look like, but I can live with it.
2 months,
So,
All right, so let's. Close that.
and they can explain what it is, right?
Yeah, you wanna explain? So basically, I was gonna see if the board wants to say that the betterment was paid, and so then you wouldn't have to pay the connection fee, but would be responsible for bringing the line into the structure.
Just go back to that. So if you see the motion that's here, move to approve the sewer connection to Zero Ridgefield Road extension. I think the submittal approval of land connection agreement for water and sewer with DPW, period. Because the next line is in payment of all applicable storm and water connection fees. Take that out. I put a fine, if the board finds that water and sewer fees were satisfied by your previous bet, paying up the property. That way, it's very clear when someone comes to pay what the town owes.
All right, that would be the precedent setting. Okay, yeah.
And the reason for the hydrant, Jen, is the water itself, the
Flushing the line,
that it's the quality of the water.
so I don't think she's responsible for that either.
Right.
It's a matter of maintaining clean water.
Yeah, I think that's part of the system. We need that. If we extend the line, we need one of the whole system.
Right, we'll supply the hydrant. We have bought hydrants, we're putting them in, so we'll give it a high.
All right,
Actually, we do have a.
any other discussion on that? And then we'll hear a motion, so essentially what we're talking about is to approve or not approve the connection, pending the submittal and approval plans, the connection of water and sewer with the DPW. We need to add in the,
The cost borne by the homeowners for the site connection.
Any
And
other-
excluding the fire.
but that means no hookup fees, correct?
So that last, right, but the phrase goes, and payment of all that.
Any other comments for,
I'm just concerned that what's the cost involved in that?
But it honestly doesn't matter, because everyone has to pay something.
Right,
I mean, we have to be equitable to everybody.
True.
Like, we
Yeah.
honest to God have to be equitable.
Yeah.
And we can't use the argument because we're gonna build, that'll be increased risk. And here, and both sides will.
right, so it's 30,000.
I respectfully, we have to,
That's what's,
but
deal
we're
with
not,
the fees and then not the,
but I think Jim's right, that for us to start extending lines and being.
Well, I like the fact that we're agreeing to the fact that the encumbrance has been paid, so that there are no hookup fees. I like that whole idea.
yeah, so that's 30,000. This is the way that kind of splits.
or we're agreeing it's
difference-
muddy enough to see.
That's where I am. I have no
I
idea.
am not even, I do not, I think there's enough evidence that something could have been made.
I don't know what was paid, something was paid. Personally, that's where I'm fine with saying it was satisfied. Who's not, I don't know. Not an attorney, I don't know, who's 30 years old, 40, 50 years old, some of them. So that's right, that's right. We have a motion?
Move to approve a sewer connection for 0 Richfield Road extension pending the submittal and approval of plans connection agreement for water and sewer with the DPW.
Do we have to add? The,
I would just add, the board waives the connection fees, finding that a previous betterment satisfies the requirements. So again, so someone who comes in the door is gonna look at that and say, okay, that's the hook.
So if you ended with agreement for water and sewer with the DPW period, and the board waives the payment of all applicable sewer and water protection fees because of betterment.
Having found that, previous betterment having paid something.
motion by,
I think that we should clarify that, the installation of the fire hydrant is to be borne by the town.
So we're gonna provide the fire.
Pardon me?
Provide the fire.
Not
Very good point, they need to provide it, but
Provide a fire
whoever does the
hydrant.
installation, install.
Why does the homeowner have to pay to install a fire hydrant?
We're gonna be doing the work on the water line. anyway.
they want to do it all at
That's
once.
what we do for.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Yeah.
So Jim, I'll just get those.
Aye.
to you next week.
Yes.
4 to 1.
You want to do the options. I don't know.
All right, it is 4 to 1.
Thank you.
All right, we are right on schedule.
Sorry about that.
We are gonna move to the election hours and early voting. Captain Gardner, sorry.
All right.
8 o'clock.
Alright, so this I call the state restraint chair, and, I do set the election.
Doesn't sound like a house, go to the whole hours for the election.
And they said No, but it's a good thing, so and same with the early voting hours, in-person early voting hours at town hall, same thing. So basically it's a formality and the warrants we sign, but,
Well, tell us all the hours and.
so the hours for, first of all, state primary, September 3rd, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Scituate High School gym at 606 Chief Justice Cushing Way. In-person early voting is at Town Hall, 600 Chief Justice Cushing Way. Beginning Saturday, August 24th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. August 26th, 28th, 29th, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday, August 22nd, 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and Friday, August 30th, that's the last day to vote early in person, 8:30 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. So those are the hours for those events, and that would be my request, respectfully request that you approve those. I just also, in addition, I want to say to the public that sample ballots are on my page of the town website, situate.ma.gov, go government, go town clerk. Red banner at the top has all the information. If you click in it, the sample ballots are at the bottom. If you are unenrolled and you are requesting a mail ballot, please let me know what ballot you would like. And before you do that, look at the ballots from them. Just saying. So, Saturday, August 24th is the last day to make changes to your voter registration or register to vote. Online, register to vote.ma.com or in the clerk's office until 5 p.m. And the last day to request a mail ballot is Tuesday, August 27th, the 5th business day before the election. After that, you can request a mail ballot. You can vote absentee. If you've missed all the other opportunities to vote before the election, you can vote absentee by mass general law the day before the election, and that's the cutoff. When you mail your ballot, anybody that's requested a ballot, sign their little card, has been mailed a ballot. I have 5 in my office that were never signed, never filled out, can't do anything with it, no form provided. But if you've requested a mail ballot, they've all been mailed to date. Make sure you read the instructions, people, voters out there. Mark your ballot appropriately, it tells you how to top the ballot, and place it in a small ballot envelope and sign the envelope. I cannot pass the ballot without the voter's signature. I can try to get a hold of you, fill in the second ballot, what have you. And you can return your ballot, your mail ballot, you can drop it off at the drop box on a security camera in front of town hall with a flagpole, or in the clerk's office as a basket on the counter, or you can hand it to us, or you can mail it, postage paid.
Sign, yeah, sign.
This made it.
You gotta sign.
These people made it look good.
I love it. Any questions, concerns, comments?
Huh?
That's not easy.
Page 26, motion.
Move to accept the early voting location and hours of September 3rd, 2024 state primary as presented by Honorable.
Moved by Ms. Canfield, second by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous.
That was really easy. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Now, everyone who's here for boards and committee openings, you are gonna dislike me a lot, but we're gonna lose, Jean, Dr. Commandra. She is on Zoom, and Mr. Chesia, so we are pulling them up. All of you are gonna hate me, but this is gonna be quick, because we're gonna talk about I know all of you are like, I don't talk about sewer connections. Jean, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How is everyone?
Wonderful. We're gonna hear all about the Lighthouse celebration before all these people in here, run me out of town.
Yep, we can, oh, it's gonna be fabulous.
They need to hear us. So tell us all about the most beautiful, lighthouse in the world, which is right here in Scituate.
So our event is going to be on August 7th at 6:30 p.m. It is open to everyone in the community. We will start at 7 a.m. that morning by closing down all of the parking in Cedar Point, right at the point. At 5 p.m., both Lighthouse and Rebecca will become 2 ways each, and it will be restricted to residents only. There will be no parking at Cedar Point, We are working on a parking pass per se to send out to people who are going to be allowed to park on site, which is speakers, some dignitaries, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and
Well,
you,
Well,
Angie.
I
Angie.
said, and you.
yeah, and me, and Bob. And we're going to have a police officer there with a CERT member who will be checking those passes just to make sure. There will be handicap parking at the site. We have got a Scituate High School four-piece brass band who will be playing sort of patriotic music as people gather. We've got two gals who will be singing the national anthem. Montilios has so wonderfully donated a huge cake, which is going to have a replica of the lighthouse on it.
Save
That
me a
will be,
slice.
we will. What else? The Hingham Militia will be marching up Lighthouse Road. They will be doing a flag raising and a musket salute. At the time that the light goes off. We've got 5 speakers.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we've got 5 speakers. Bob Gallagher, the lighthouse keeper, will be the keynote speaker of the evening. There will be a lighted sign on July 30th that'll be put on Jericho Road so people can start to know what's going on. And then on August 2nd, there'll be another lighted sign put right down at the little park there as you enter into Lighthouse Road. I don't know. I think that's probably about it. It's going to be wonderful. We hope, hopefully. There are buses because there's not going to be any parking. There will be bus transportation from Scituate High School starting at 5 p.m. The buses will run until 9 p.m. to get people back there. We will have fire presence, police presence, DPW, all that sort of stuff. So we will be setting up a stage either on Monday or Tuesday. And then we'll be setting up tent, chairs. We've got tables, a sound system that will all set up on Wednesday.
Great. Yeah, we want to set the stage up early. We figure people will see it and they'll get an idea that something's going on. And I just printed these if you want to see them. This is when we did Don't Give Up the Ship. This is kind of what the stage would look like. Which was a pretty cool event that we did. It won't be as big as this. I think this is gonna be bigger. And, I'm sure it'll be live streamed. We'll have a lot of businesses down the highway to be able to see the light go on, or focus or whatever, but we put a lot of invitations that are going out, it's pretty much to everybody. You guys are included.
Bob,
Yes,
so the light can go on, you have to pick it up out of Nancy's office.
I know, we're gonna try it, yeah.
Every
The
time
light
I
is
say
in
that, knock it
Nancy's
over.
office.
Get it on it before
I'm
it
afraid to
gets-
touch it, but
Yeah,
don't promise. Well, we have a punch list to go through at the lighthouse, and when they contractors sometimes don't converse with each other, so the light plugs in, but when you pop the hatch up, it pulls the plug out. So we've got to get that moved, so that's kind of what we're waiting for. We're gonna try it. Bobby Gallo was gonna make sure that there is juice to the elements. But it will be working, we'll have someone light it. And our other thing we're working on is a flagpole. Flagpole that was there, it broke and it's not in good shape. So we had South Shore flag down to look at it and then trying to figure out how to attach it where it was before, because before it was Bobby Stevenman put it in, and you could drive a truck into that rail. This is a little bit more. So they want to engineer it, it's a 20-foot flagpole, and we'll have our flag up there, which you think, well, where's the flag going? We're gonna put it all up. But we're working on a lot of things, so I think we're doing really well.
Yep, we're going to also have a commemorative poster which Abigail and Rebecca will be passing out to people, the spectators. There will be a limited quantity of them. So, but they, people will get a little something from the evening, along with the wonderful cake.
Yes, love that.
And of course, the idea is to light the lighthouse at dusk.
Correct.
So if you're out and about and looking around to see the lighthouse lit up, it'll be around dusk, which we think is around 8-ish.
And the last time they had an event, they had fire, a ladder truck with the big fire, you
Yeah.
will have to get.
Yes.
And SCTV will be live streaming it. So, if people don't want to go down for the big, crowd that's going to be there, they'll get a sense of when it's going to be lit. Maybe they, head down along the waterfront somewhere.
Well, both of you have been yeoman
Don't forget to.
and Karen has done, all of you have done yeoman's work on this. It's unbelievable. People are starting to talk about it. They're like, when's it happening? What's going on? So I look at the institution.
Well, we're sending out the invitations via email. So there, if you want to be on the email list, go to the town website and sign up for the email invitation list. But everyone's invited, and there will be posters around town. And I know Jean and Bob are probably going down to WATD radio to do some publicity for that. And I know Jean's been in touch with a lot of media. And you never know who's gonna show up media wise, because if you have a hurricane that day, it's another story, so.
Yeah.
But I think it'll get attention, and I think the the Lighthouse
National Lighthouse Day is that day, yes.
Yeah,
Just give an idea how many emails you're gonna send out, about that out.
oh, at least 1,000,
So that's what we're.
but everyone should feel invited,
So-
there's no event that everyone is invited.
So our actual invitation list is about 163 emails. We've also got our mailing list for the society, which is almost 800. Bear in mind, some of those people are out of state, they're not going to come, but so on our end, almost 1,000 will go out as well.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be very well attended. Any questions about the event? Because we have to do a special event permit. And we have a motion.
Move to approve special event permit to the Scituate Historical Society for the Lighthouse Relighting Celebration to be held on August 7th, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with setup beginning at 7 a.m. pending all final departmental approvals.
Move Mr. Gilmore, second by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you there.
Thank you.
And
Thanks so much.
If the light's not working, Bob's gonna be able to flash like this.
Right.
I have my railroad land.
There you go.
Good night.
Thank you, good night. All right, so boards and committee openings. We're gonna do this in 2 steps. Because I have a prerogative, I think, as chair. We'll start with the beach commission, folks, so those 2, and then do everyone else after. So Gordon and Deborah come on down at once. Is Deborah Kelly here? No. So, is Robert Murray from Water Resources here? Come on up. Emily Matthews, are you here? Come on up. And Brendan Coleman, come on up. So, we're gonna get our books out for everybody.
I like to see it.
Well, here's the deal, we do a lot of these. It shouldn't be so difficult to volunteer, if you wanna volunteer. Here's what we wanna know. Some of you we know, some of you don't. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Why now? What you're trying to do on this computer, what kind of excites you about that? My left to right, just name, address for the record, everything.
Sure. My name is Brendan Coleman. I live at 143 Driftway. I'm sure that house was probably on your agenda quite a bit. It's one of the new developments right on the Driftway as you go into the third cliff. Hopefully that's not a detriment to me. I am new to Scituate. I just moved here with my husband about 3 months ago. And I just want to be involved in the community, just sort of who I am, and just want to be able to give back and partake. It's my first step into anything in the public arena. This meeting itself was a good testament to what I can encounter. You didn't run for the door, which is happening. I didn't run for the door, but it was exciting to see how passionate everyone is about Scituate, and I just really have always loved this town. My days go back to 1982 with Scituate, coming here in the summertime as a kid, so I really wasn't sure what committee to sign up for. Cultural committees seemed, you know, like a really good first step, but if, you know, the select board has any suggestions or any place to put me based on my resume or application, I'm open to all options.
What number is called?
It's 21.
21.
It's labeled. Sorry.
Have you, is that binder for all of,
This
is for all
just today?
I love when it's under X. And you're looking for.
Scituate.
Yes, for Scituate.
Oh my God, I
So-
know. I know something all these together.
Cause like that's what I think.
For context, we have about 100, I counted once, like 150 volunteers serving on different boards and committees.
Wild.
That's, or the staff is an awesome job keeping, you know, lights on and everything moving forward. But all of the other stuff is done by them. So.
I mean,
Emily
I'm
knows.
so happy to throw my hat in the ring and, yeah.
So, this work, the cultural commission is a little different because it is kind of straddles between town benefit, but it's really sort of state mandated stuff, which is a little different than committees that our board will say, hey, we need somebody to look at this.
Sure.
So it's a little bit different in that sense, we have a little more independence. It does say there are no things, is that possible?
You have the new sheet if you go, whatever you go.
Someone was.
Build it or-
I'm sorry, can you?
I believe, Mr. Coleman will fill the opening, so,
Oh, did somebody retire?
Someone I thought it was on.
we updated the sheets. when
Oh, I
was
see,
on,
I see.
There's an update.
Okay.
Alright, we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. State guidelines for government terms of this.
Minimum 5
Yeah.
members, max 22.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
We got it. Well, wonderful. But again, project manager background, I mean, worked all over, a lot of financial, background, but.
And before my life in finance, I got my legs living in New York City, selling real estate, for the Portland Group, so.
Alright.
Any other questions?
Project managers are always very good to have on committee.
Yes.
Yeah. With an MBA from
Keep
Suffolk,
things
so.
rolling
happy to-
and,
Yeah, good thing I'm not up there grading you guys here, that would be,
Ms. Matthews, let's talk about, paper.
Sure. Hi, Emily Matthews, 158 Clap Road. I moved here in 2013. And through some friends, learned that Cape Verde was a country. Okay, moved here.
yeah, good, good start.
But it's gonna be, it's celebrating its 50th year independence next year, so, anyways,
Tell them it's 38, number
Page
38.
38. I was really excited to learn about a country I had never heard about, and the Scituate Library through, education through my friends, through the Scituate Town Library hosting events talking about the country and its impact of its citizens who moved to Scituate. Piqued my interest, and then just with the formation of the Sister City Committee in the past couple of years, got me even more excited. And I know that all of those Sister City committees kind of work pretty closely together, I have a background in education, but also in digital marketing, so I would love to bring them into the 21st century with some digital marketing supports, helping to educate the community, celebrate culturally what we have going on. And again, I think not only will it support the one sister city, but all of them because they work so close.
Yeah, you really do. So there any question I did for the
I didn't know
liaison?
I was unable to make the big celebration, and I do think the, digital marketing would be helpful, they're very much into event planning, so we
Yeah.
would have a lot to do because they're thinking of doing even more events.
Yeah, they are.
Very fun group, so I think it would be a good addition as a, as something to focus on, to get the word out.
I'll just say online is a fixture and busy hands category in Scituate. So, this committee is very busy. And great leadership, great energy. Saw you at the Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
And it's, yeah, I think the collaboration with all of our sister city programs, I think your experience knowing different facets of town, putting this in together would be very helpful. So I agree with anything.
All right. All right.
Sorry, I'm reading 26 Summit Ave, we've been here around 1993. That was originally on the water supply company, which then became the water resource. And I got in 2011 because my business got just too much. But we sold the business a couple of years ago when I retired. That's the point.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
What year did you stop? 2012 you stopped?
2011.
Yeah. How have you seen the evolution of the focus on water resources? I know this is.
It's, you have a lot of the same channel. And there were a lot of initiatives that seem to have run up against obstacles, like expanding storage, whatever. I noticed that there's a, we're looking at desalinization, which is kind of interesting. But I'm also very interested in what Plymouth's doing with the recharge. In many consideration, but I don't know what the police doing, so I don't. Very nice.
Yeah, I know that there's new, there's gonna be a new focus, actually, we heard a lot about connection fees, and other kind of fees that we need to help pay for the infrastructure, right now, so, that's gonna be a focus on irrigation and other types of issues. Some of the same things, I think, we've done maybe on a different scale, with some football buildings kind of thing, making sure that they certainly need, of the liaison, certainly need folks with some institutional knowledge, working with some of these other nonprofits and other groups around the area, so I think that would be your forward strategy. Mr. Price.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I returned again to the beach commission application. I was here last year. I was interested in the storage issue. That proposal I'm going to mention today, and talked about a year ago. When I was here, you all know basically who I am, what I've done, how to serve on any boards, commissions, and whatnot. And I think I've demonstrated my ability to take a project along with help with many other people and bring it to fruition in a way that benefits the town. My ability on the beach commission to do the same thing. A year ago when I was here, I mentioned that I had become
to know that having not been a beachgoer for a number of years, and now having young grandchildren, having gone to Peggotty on the numerous occasions last year, to see that, you know, we have 300, 400, 500 people on the beach, and we have one outhouse. So I talked a lot to people, my wife and said, you know, I think it's borders on criminal 2023, now 2024, but we don't have adequate sanitation facilities for people who go to the beach. So I'm here requesting an assignment to the beach commission so that there would be somebody on the beach commission who takes this effort under their wing and with the help of the other beach commission people, hopefully bring it to fruition. I reviewed all the agendas and the minutes of the beach commission over the last, 6 or 8 months. And there was mentioned, I think when I was here last year, that when I mentioned the, storage, someone, I think, maybe said, we think that they're looking into it. Well, there's nothing mentioned in either minutes or agenda over the last 8 or 9 months in their discussions. A lot of discussions about bike racks, signage, beach cleanup, and things like that. So I took it upon myself, one day for each of you, to look into what a likely possibility would be. There's discussion of, well, we can't build anything there because we have a big storm that'll get washed away. Well, this company is one of several, and I've spoken to these people a couple of times. These are portable, ADA compliant, air conditioned units that have, we'll start with one ADA compliant bathroom and one conventional bathroom, as well as wash facilities. And we could have a shower installed under control. They would probably be sufficient for at least a day of use without pumping. The tank size of 300 gallons of water. This is minimum. You can get bigger. 300 gallons of water, 300 gallons of sewage. I don't imagine we would fill one of those up in a day. They say that 300 capacity is good for probably close to 300 people. I don't think 300 people take it a year minor and be able to use it. And it's pretty neat in that you can monitor the capacity on a phone to see how close you're coming to maxing it out. So at the point that it's getting close to max, you call Pete Spencer or somebody and say, hey, you drop by the beach tomorrow and pump it out. They're very well built, looking at very serviceable. They can be either rented or purchased. Purchase price is around $60,000, and they're portable. So we get a threat of a storm, we hook the thing up to one of the DPW trucks and haul it out of the beach. So to me, it's short money to pay to bring beach amenities up to what they do. I think what they should be. I know it's not going to happen this year or maybe even next year. I think if we look at this on somewhat of a, hopefully a short-term basis, we could pull this off and get the facilities at our beaches. That would be something we really should have, I think. That's really my reason for being the beach condition.
I'm gonna correct you on one thing you said it's not gonna happen yet next year. I'm gonna say it is going to happen next year. We have been looking into this for quite some time, and we need somebody like you to push it. This is something that I'm very, Andrew and we've all talked about this before. This will be what's at your rate, because we will not be able to build something the state's told us that. So what better time now to test it out before we then go forward with it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be every single beach next year. It could be two, but I think it's a great plan, and I really appreciate you bringing this to us, as well as this is one of the two, beaches, it's all about the beach, right? Parking and porta potties. So I think those are two very important amenities for our beaches, and need a lot of discussion and thought in the next couple of years. So thank you.
The main user of these is not only municipalities, but small businesses. And maybe you have a construction project going on, you need a temporary portable unit. That's what they're.
The marinas have them too.
Yes.
Like downtown, yeah.
Yeah,
The Scituate marina.
and this particular company, I'm not, telling them, being the one that is chosen, but they do have a good reputation within, in business, quite close to lots of units up there. That, I think, the main, when we talk about maintenance is gonna be a big issue. I don't think pumping a 300 gallon tank as compared to, our tanks at home that are 1,500 gallon is gonna be more than probably $50-60. I want to talk to Pete and get an idea from him what his thought would be, but, if this comes to be a, one on the commission, we'll certainly look into it. I don't think it's gonna be a big maintenance.
No, it's,
We can. I say it all the time. We can figure something out, right? For any of these, we can find a solution. Okay.
yes.
Well, thank you all for coming. We're not to stay at all, or trying to get out of here. We'll vote on this later. Thank you so much. And
Thank you very much.
I don't know if I remember, you kind of see a long time.
Oh, wait,
Keep the photos on shot in the back. The project. Yeah.
All right. For next, some more sewer connections. Andrew, on down.
Gordon, before you go, since I'm the Board of Health, I think it's a great idea. 100% behind it.
Thank you.
That's what we need.
Thank you.
How are you? Let's talk and vinyl. Oh, good, and 64 vinyl.
Okay.
Vinyl.
And vinyl first, 81?
Sure.
So we received a report from Rosano Davis that inspected a cesspool there that has collapsed with high water levels, and the system needs to be replaced. Anytime we have a system that is near town sewer that goes into failure, we always reach out to DPW to see if it is feasible, to see if they can connect to town sewer. Title V says that if they have the ability to, that they must connect. You are the sewer commission, yes.
All right.
So we did reach out to DPW and they indicated that they can connect to the sewer. And we are here to request emergency approval for a sewer connection for 81 and 9. Any questions?
I actually, there was actually a house in town that's still accessible.
Oh, man.
Oh my God, because when I look at this history, the transfer history, back in 1984, is that when they started to put Title V, or was it maybe a few years later?
Probably earlier than that.
Because
But they all, yes. We have cesspools in town right now that are functional,
that passed.
that pass.
That passed.
Yes.
That's amazing.
If you have a 4-bedroom house, and all you have is mom and dad living there now, or it's just maybe mom or dad, they're not gonna get a lot of use.
And so the
then
system
system
passes.
actually passes, yeah.
But now it's not.
Now it's not.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Who wants to clean up the position?
Yeah,
Questions?
so-
I think it's appropriate. All right, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve, this final again. Move to approve emergency sewer connection for parcel ID number 27-5-4-081 at 81 and on our pending connection agreement with DPW.
Second. Moved by Ms. Campbell, seconded by Mr. Gilmore. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
My second request is for 64 Vinyl Ave. You remember I was before you maybe a month and a half ago for the property right next door to this. This is very similar. This is a newer system that was put in back in about 18 years ago, 20 years ago. It's one of the new alternative systems that goes in, and it has a maintenance agreement and a maintenance contract on it. And when they did an inspection on it, they did find that the aerator was not operating, and there are several wet spots, ponding in the yard with a musky odor and possible puncture of the drip dispersal line, which is one of the drip systems, requiring excavation and repairing the septic system. So we reached out to DPW to see if this was available to hook up, and we kind of figured it would be because it was right next to the property that was just approved a couple of months ago, so that is where we are for this property right here. And it'll hook up through, I believe it's land. Connected land, yeah.
And they're paying for it, right?
Yep.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve an emergency sewer connection for parcel ID number 50-10-10-16-0, 64 Vinyl Ave, pending connection agreement with the DPW.
Do you have this comment, second by Ms. Canfield, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay.
Thank you very much, and I would just like to add one quick thing off of the agenda. I know Mr. Boudreau spoke about it earlier in the week. We did have a positive West Nile virus mosquito pool in the city. We want people to take precautions, especially at dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are out at their most peak hours. You can also call Plymouth County Mosquito Control to have your street sprayed. It is 781-585-5450.
I missed that. Can you say that again?
781-585-5450.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
Thank
Can I ask a question on this?
Sure.
When you call these people to do the spraying, what about animals? What about pets?
It's the product, it's 1 ounce per acre of what they spray. It's a product that has been used for many, many years. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it is safe. And if you live on a street and you don't want your house spray, your area sprayed, you can call up and say, if you're coming down Vinyl Ave, don't spray number
So that would be
64.
reversed, but the product they use is pet friendly.
Yes,
That's what I wanted to track.
and it dissipates once sunlight hits it. So they spray between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m.
She's a free bug spray at the trail. There you go.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Clark, Tosca. This is page, sorry. Page. 51. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So I'm here to present the memorandum of agreement with the communication specialist, which is basically with the dispatch of Iden unit. Dispatches are a subset, or I guess a subunit of TSCA. We just recently, about a month or so ago, I presented an MOA for TSCA for your approval, so in essence, this MOA was very similar to that, virtually identical, other than there's a few changes, a few differences. The dispatch bargaining unit is a little bit unique in that since it's a 24/7 operation, they have far more sort of staffing issue that they have to address, which is one reason we need to. And ultimately, it took a little bit longer to negotiate. But ultimately, the MOA, it really mirrors the TSCA contract that was already agreed to, including the wage increases that was agreed to, the changes in step placement. We edited the employee leave language so that we include rental leave. We talked about that previously. We included a drug and alcohol policy. We increased the uniform allowance by $100, which is the same as what we've done at camps. So ultimately, this MOA will look very similar to the one that you've already agreed to. So I guess I'll primarily just speak of where the differences are. I mentioned that with the dispatch bargaining unit, it's minimally staffed. We have 2 dispatchers on every shift. So if someone is out sick, on vacation, we actually have to backfill that vacancy with overtime from the existing dispatch. So they end up working fair amount of overtime, or often in situations in which we're even mandating overtime. We have situations in which we're forced to call dispatchers from home, mandated they be forced to work from home. If we're in a situation in which we can't get a volunteer to work, or we can't get a firefighter, a police officer who's trained to work. So that was, many of our conversations were regarding how we do staffing. And one of the agreements that we had with this particular bargaining unit is that if we were in a situation in which we were to force someone to come in to work from home, we would give them, in addition to the time and a half overtime that would be paid, we would give them an additional 8 hours of comp time. So again, it's rare that we actually have to do that. It's something we don't want to do, but by agreeing to this little additional incentive, it's a little bit of the sting out of that ultimately, I guess. Ultimately, that was the MOA was overwhelmingly a universal. It was completely agreed to by the bargaining unit, so I think they were ultimately happy with the agreement that we proposed.
That's you found the turnover. I can't think of a more stressful, I mean, one of the most stressful things to do. Was it hard to keep, I mean, it just seems so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some difficulties, in the training is significant. For someone to come in and be trained as a dispatcher, they have to take a 40-hour class through 911. And you just imagine how long you want to train them to make sure that they're comfortable so that, they can fly solo, so it may be a month to a month and a half of actually training before they're on the ship manning that phone on the phone. So, when we do have turnover, it's difficult to get someone up to speed, it's difficult to get someone trained, and that also just ultimately puts an additional demand on existing staff and over time. I would say about half the staff have been there for fairly, 7, 8 years. The other half, there's only eight dispatchers. The other half, we've had some turnover. But I think we're relatively stabilized now. I think we're in a good position. We have some really good staff, really good group. But, it's a unique job. I mean, some people can do it, some people, they give it a shot and
Now, do they have, I'm sorry for my ignorance on this, but do they have access to some of the same, I talked to, Chief talked about this, some of the mental health services to make sure that, I mean, again, it's just not coming from that world and then being within. It's
right. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing, they work really close with the police and fire department, and particularly if there's a significant event, they'll always have someone come in to work with them, and they'll always involve dispatch, because they're the first. Yeah, that's us. It's tough work.
love everyone to do it.
Can I just, this is not my normal character. Item C in your memorandum, you list 4 different overtime distribution folks, full-time dispatcher, item 1, item 2, part-time dispatcher. Item 3, you mean per diem dispatcher? And is that a spelling error? Let's get that corrected.
Spelling error.
Good, that's my big 2 cents today. Thank you.
So you have 8 dispatchers in total,
8 full-time dispatchers.
and then you have the part-time.
And then we have 2 different dispatchers work 2 days a week. It's actually a 6-day cycle.
And it's 24/7. I don't know how you do it with 8. Yeah, it's
so difficult.
So it's six, with 6 per day, and it's a 6-day shift, it's 4 on, 2 off, so that's 48 shifts that we got to cover.
with
And
8
so-
people essentially. Well, thank you for
Good for dedicating.
the hard work that you.
We had a real problem with this last contract. Andy was talking about how stressful it is about sitting at Thursday night and speaking.
Well, yeah, that's a great.
So, I would love to.
Is the phone still work? Would that be good?
Yes.
The phones will work.
Phones will
with the
work.
computers.
Problem before that was when they lost the 911.
Right,
Right.
right,
Statewide.
right.
Well, after bringing the dispatch, we can recognize them. So what he did when that happened. But, yeah, they do a fantastic job. Since we made the changes in the last contract, that stabilized that one, most of it.
Just one other question, do we have any sort of mutual aid way to do with the fire department? That
Yes, so the dispatch is called a PSAP, Public Safety Answering Point, and we PSAP as a secondary PSAP. So if something happens with us, I think we go to the Shrek and then it would default to the state police after that, there'd be PSAP as a secondary PSAP.
It's good to know.
All right. A motion to the beloved and best in Plymouth County in the state dispatch.
Motion to approve the collective bargaining memorandum of agreement between the town of Scituate and the most amazing Costco communication specialist, bargaining unit.
Ms. Canfield, seconded by?
Second.
Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous.
Thank you all.
All right. Mr. Kelly.
Good evening.
Contract extension until 2027? Oh, no.
No, that's not on there.
Sorry, I thought.
All in favor?
Sorry. All right, electrical vehicle charging usage rates.
Yes,
So,
so as you know, or may know, we are adding EV charging stations throughout town. We've already installed the ones at the library, doing the ones at the high school next to town hall after that. We have an approved grant for those locations. And we are applying for a grant, and have applied for a grant for locations at Widows Walk, Dog Park, and North Scituate. Location to be determined in North Scituate, we'd like to put it near the playground, but MBTA, parking lots, and this, that, and the other, we haven't got that far yet. So I am here so we can put a rate, kilowatt hour rate for people who use the stations. Two stations that we currently have in town hall that have been there for, I think, 11 years. There is no rate associated with those, primarily because they're there for town vehicles. There are times when people pull up beside the town vehicles and plug in, there's no rate.
Flood, top there.
Okay, and then.
oh, really?
I come by on Saturday and someone will pull the car and town gas on flood. I stopped, I plugged in, got plugged the town car.
Thank you very much. Well, then there are those people who like to block EV charging stations because
There's probably some of that too.
I'm sure there is.
Right. I don't know if you've seen the ones at the library, they came up very nice, they look good.
Yeah.
And they're right beside the, bike rack. I think there was some banter that, we took away 5 spots. Closest to the building, but. Right, so each station has 2 heads. So we're putting 2 stations at each location that I mentioned. And that charges 4 vehicles, but it's 5 spots because you need to account for an ADA spot.
How long does it take to charge a vehicle?
It depends on the vehicle. If you have a hybrid type vehicle, I believe, don't quote me on this, these stations we're putting in are a level 2 station. And I think it could take overnight to get it up to 100%. But if you plug in for an hour, the stations work, I believe, at 7 kilowatts an hour, so it's like $2.10 if we do the suggested rate I'm talking about. And then the stations, so it's a good question, it's probably good to note that there's 3 stations, level 1, 2, and 3. And level 1 is a station that you have at home that you just plug into your outside outlet and come from here. So it's an extension cord, literally. Level 2 is what we're putting in. And these are the AC charging stations. And they're a alternating current. And the transformer inverter in the car switches it to direct current, so it takes longer to charge a vehicle. The level 3 stations, which are the ones that we have proposed for the Widows Walk Dog Park and North Scituate, those are direct current stations, so they charge quicker. And those are more so, not only for electric vehicles, but they are for electric vehicles. Actually, a hybrid cannot charge at a level 3 station. The car's not equipped to do it. So when you drive around, you see those fancy Tesla sign stations, those are DC stations, those are direct current. There's no inverter, no transformer, you just plug right in and it goes direct current to direct current, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. So should we charge differently for level 2 and level 3?
I don't know the answer to that yet, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna guess that the wattage output is different, so probably when we get to the DC stations, I would think we may charge different.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar enough with what that's going to be. So,
Yeah, so obviously there are some people who would just put their car there and just walk away and never, not come back for a few hours. Are you gonna have any sort of, I know there's no way to enforce it, but at least signage that suggests that this is meant as a courtesy and not a, do you know what I'm saying?
from the people
Yeah.
that we're working with, they said that's not a huge problem. Because the locations we put them, we are putting them are usually in places that people are using to go in and do
And
something.
you're going in and out,
Right,
maybe
in
for
and
an
out,
hour at times,
hour or
you're
two
not,
or whatever the
you're not
case may
driving,
be.
getting on the train, going to Boston.
If we do find out that there is someone parking their car there for a long time, then I'm sure we could put a policy together quick. But we don't have any plans for that yet.
And do we get any credit from the state, whatever it might be, as being that we're doing this so that it gives us more points for the state of Maine?
They give the credit up front, so to put in the library station costs $45,000. 38,000 we got from state, 7,000 we contributed. The number's about the same for the other, so it's costing us about 21,000 to put in 3 stations. 3 locations, 6 stations, 12 points.
Okay, thank you.
So the research, we did some research and we found that Marshfield, Cohasset, Plymouth, Kingston, we looked at local, close to us neighborhoods, communities. In Quincy have set an average rate of 25 cents per kilowatt hour. It's worthy to note that Weymouth, Braintree, Duxbury, and Norwell, they do not charge for the use of their stations. The Norwell ones at the library, those other ones are at Town Hall. I was unable to verify if they had other stations through the town that they do charge at. We have contract vendor costs to manage the stations, a semi-annual maintenance, and that's $2,800 per year. And if we do these additional stations, it's another $2,100 per year, which is about $5,000 annually. As I said, it costs us $21,000 to put the stations in. This does not account for any repairs we would have to make some stations as time goes on. So we currently pay an average of 30 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity, which includes our rate, our contracted rate, and the supply and distribution from the utilities. And we're recommending that we set a fee of 33 cents per kilowatt hour, which on a typical hybrid would be about $2.10 an hour. Because the stations are set up for 7 kilowatts, 7,000 watts.
We've talked about this before. I mean, it's like going back to 1905, saying, hey, I'm gonna open up
This is the
6
first
gas
time,
stations.
this is the first time we're doing this, right?
Yes.
So I think I have to yield to your professional expertise
Yeah.
here. Let's see how the numbers fall out after the first period or year or whatever, maybe some sort of quarterly reporting or whatever. Just so that it breaks even, I guess is where we're trying to go here.
Yes, this would break us even because it's 33 cents. The company that does the billing, does do a 10% fee.
Yeah.
For the charge, so this, according to these numbers, it's a break even number.
Oh, we have to do it.
I'm just thrilled that this year, this program is coming to fruition finally. I don't think you mentioned that there's no plans for Cold Parkway at the moment.
No, no, because of the water.
Yeah, I'm the obvious problem there, which is a shame. But yeah, no, this is awesome. In my particular assessments.
Love it, I think. Yes, so
I just want, or we're gonna track the utilization of this,
Yes.
right? And then and I just know nothing about this, if one's a dud and no one uses it, can you move the station to somewhere else, or no, you have to get off the station?
Well, we could move it someplace else, but there's a lot of infrastructure that goes along with that. So if the ones particularly here do not get used a lot, you know, in theory, you could take, if we were going someplace, installing someplace else, we could take the station out of here. Yes.
yeah, I mean, this is again, long term.
Yeah, no, I was just.
Because
curious
the-
long
Just gotta see how this
term,
goes.
Yeah, because you won't. I don't say it's gonna, you want it to be a revenue producer, but you want it, because there's gonna be huge infrastructure costs going forward, a lot of those state federal programs are gonna dry up eventually. So
Yeah,
expect- the level 3s are outrageous things you gotta
Okay,
do.
no, I was more thinking if
Yeah, so,
one's getting used all the time as a line and no one's going to the one.
And the grant process, I should know, for level 3 is longer. It's again in line because the state's offering to everybody, and everybody wants.
and so even at this, even at 33 cents to fill up, that's just
Oh, yeah,
$60.
agree.
I was told that some communities are charging 50 cents an hour, but I would not even find any of those. But Brenda said that there are towns.
Yeah, the level 3s, the average price is like 40 to 50.
Okay.
That's for level 3s.
Mhm.
They're-
Yeah.
it's- I love it, this is great, awesome, as always.
Yeah. Awesome, thank you. The library's ready to go. If we make a decision tonight, I can have a little bag,
Let's
go
make a
sign it,
decision.
and turn them on. That way the town administrator doesn't unplug people.
Motion to set up all municipal EV charging stations, charge the user at 0.33 cents per kilowatt hour.
Mr. Gilmore, seconded by Ms. Canfield, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous.
Fantastic.
Great job by Kevin on this, he did a lot of legwork, Corey, I think helped out on the grant application this year.
No, not on this one.
This is all Kevin.
Corey's my great community girl.
This is probably the last time,
Nancy, yes.
Kevin will be before us, so before he
Enjoy
retires.
his life.
Yes.
He is officially dead to me already.
We have a meeting in late August, let's put them on the 10 o'clock spot.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll review the facilities plan.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you for the support that I've had from this
Thank you very
board
much
over
for
the years.
everything you've done.
Made a lot of the job easier, so thank you.
You're gonna leave us your phone number, right?
I will, sure, call me anytime.
Yeah, we'll get it later.
Yeah. It's 6 digits long.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, there's nothing, I can't wait to talk about the DD2.
It's almost as much kind of a team of conversation where you can't have one sentence without 7 acronyms. So the DE2, we are still attempting to file this form with the Department of Revenue on the water treatment plant additional for debt exclusion. The 2 prior submissions were not acceptable to them. They are requiring an engineer's report, which we have before you tonight, and they are requiring the board to accept the engineer's report and then refile the application. And the engineer's report is specific to the bullet points that they requested answered in their IGR. Sorry,
This is what we're submitting.
yes,
Yeah.
I will submit it tomorrow morning if the board sees fit to approve the engineer's report.
All right, questions on the engineer's report of the DD2? explaining everything.
It was an exhaustive explanation of where we've been and where we are. I thought it was just really good.
It was really good.
So we're very good. Thank you.
This is a new requirement. It requires this level of detail.
Questions? Mr. Gilman, here. Motion.
Move to accept the report for the water treatment plant, additional funding prepared by the board.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Canfield, seconded by Ms. Conley, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Let's talk about some line striping
Oh, exciting.
and unit prices, line striping from K5 Corporation.
And based on what I saw in your folder to be signed, this is the NAPC purchasing agreement. The town had brought out for its own line striping contract, and K5 was a little bigger on that as well, and I did check with Sean, and it was the same prices. So we might as well stay with the NAPC contract, because that has been the renewals in it, and that was a good purchase for all of the municipalities around us.
Has everyone been happy with the street striping around town?
Oh, no.
Now, just makes all the cars go fast.
It looks pretty good, bright colors, everyone.
Ronnie Jones was very.
Yes.
She doesn't, you're right.
Yeah.
Questions or motion? No? Motion.
Move award contract to K5 Corporation of Brockton, Massachusetts to provide pavement markings effective July 1, 2024 through all extensions at unit prices.
Mr. Gilmore, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Canfield, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous.
I apologize to Sean, I did not realize he was still here and sitting there this entire time to present the line strike contract.
Would you like to add anything, Mr. Mark?
Could have done it any better.
Sure, he's just.
Sorry.
You did happy.
Answer the question that everything is based on.
Yeah. Next on the agenda is select board Zoom meeting, that we talked a little bit about this before, I just wanted to make sure that everyone on official note, make sure that we're okay with continuing with meetings via Zoom and allowing folks to participate.
No, it would like a hybrid meeting, perfect.
Right.
We, so this one is a Zoom, right?
Yes, it was posted as a people.
Yeah. Is there indication how many people are watching right at the moment, are there participants?
No.
Okay. Hopefully.
Well, there's no participants except Seth and Sharon right now, so.
Yeah. Jean did.
But
oh,
Jean,
it's not-
Jean called in, and so it allows people to phone in.
Yeah.
To present as well.
Yes.
All right. So, I'm sorry, Judy, yeah, totally.
I don't think we should have much of this, but if you'd like to. make
Would you like-
sure.
That would be fabulous.
Move that the select board, that the select board agendas provide a Zoom link option for public participation going forward.
Moved by Ms. Canfield, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. So I believe boards and committee appointments, everyone here, there's an opening.
Yes.
Deborah Kelly was not here. Beach Commission was not the only.
She's the only one, and the top one, which was crossed that area, and she's ill, so she can't come.
Okay.
Reschedule her.
Is there an opening in the council, agent?
Yes.
The speech commission, there's 3 applicants, 2 positions open.
So, yes.
Okay, so, and we have a 3rd applicant, it's not scheduled? Or that the one that's.
There might be someone, what's the 816?
Oh, right here. Yeah, no, that's the,
Yeah.
I don't see her on the schedule. Do it in the book.
Okay, well, I'll have to look at it.
No, I think there's hold on.
Oh, we got it.
There's opening for everyone that was showed up.
Yeah, there was.
There is. Look at the beach commission.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, that was,
I looked at.
no, my
the-
point is that the three applicants for two positions of the beach commission, we have not heard from them all yet.
well, I thought there was more, is that under B or S?
S, Scituate Beach is under S.
Yes, Scituate Beach Commission, but that's Gordon Price, and we're gonna get our toilets.
33.
Two openings. Or, so, I'm sorry, so Deborah was not here, did we not, I'm sorry.
Do you not have
It says 2.
So we could still be able to.
Not
still be
Stacy
able to-
Matty was the third one. I think she's scheduled for another meeting. Okay.
So you're saying we have to hold on beach?
Well,
commission?
historically, we wait until we hear all applicants for a commission before we move them.
So let's just not vote,
So we would not, we just
table Gordon for now.
table Gordon until the other two have come in. And then have a vote for the two open positions
Yeah.
based on that.
Okay, we can do that.
And I have a question about, Friday Carolyn, he had come in for cultural council or historic commission for public building. I think we do have an opening on the historic commission because Barbara and Brand passed away.
You have several people in the queue for next meeting for store.
Okay, so,
You asked for cultural.
It's number one choice.
That was close to us.
Okay,
Put it in there.
all right.
Anyway,
I'm
we'll
just
put it
get
on.
them in and then we won't let them out.
we historically had a hard time with historic commissions.
Historically,
Historically,
I
we
love that.
had a historical problem with the historic commission. So,
you said they hysterically.
no, I did not say
Take
that.
comments there.
Public, you see, okay, all right.
All right,
Public Building Commission,
well, that's a third.
I got that one, it's not on 2.7. It's two openings there too. Put them on two committees. Yeah, we have no one else applying,
We
right?
have some policy related to that, so.
Public building, yeah, no, okay, that's fine, he wants to,
Yeah.
that's number one.
Yeah, another one.
You never know, who knows? All right,
Like, we read the motions?
sure.
Move to appoint Robert Murray to the Water Resources Commission for a term of 3 years or until a successor is named. Move to appoint Emily Matthews to the Sister City Kingsburg Committee for a term of 2 years or until a successor is named. Move to appoint Brandon Holden to the Cultural Council for a term of 3 years. Move to reappoint the following to the Coastal Advisory Committee for a term of 1 year or until its successor is named. Beth McKinley, Stephen Trill. One, William Hederick. Move to reappoint the following to the Full Record Redevelopment Committee for a term of 1 year or until a successor is named. Joseph Horton, Susan Digmeyer, Sherry Richfield Lyons, Matthew McKinley, Mike Gibbons, Bob Warner. Move to reappoint the following to the Council on Aging for a term of 3 years or until a successor is named. John Miller, Deirdre Dwyer, Lori Brady, and Patricia Carlin.
Moved by Ms. Conlon,
Second.
second by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, green layer license. Site Pro, I heard of them. So again, folks at home, everything's in, and have all the different backup, and this is just for a renewal of a license, no complaints, we had no constituent concerns. We have a motion.
Motion to approve the renewal of the drain layers license for Scituate Contract LLC.
Moved by
Second.
Gil Moore, seconded by Ms. Canfield, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Liaison reports. I have one.
But I attended the Affordable Housing Trust meeting last Wednesday, July 17th. They approved and moved forward and will announce it week of August 1st on the small repair grant program, which we appropriated funding for. Basically, we went through the whole thing. There was one question raised, which was interesting about how long we keep the confidential application, financial application information locked up here in the town hall for a recipient. And how long does that have to stay in record?
State law or
It's
something.
a state statute, I have to look it up.
Yeah, but, you know, it is locked up and
Oh,
it should be something that maybe we just find out what the statute says and make sure we have a disposal program for that after that statute is done. Then they recap the old gates and down the reuse study. There was no determinations made there. That's basically about it. Oh, I did bring up because of my seat on the diversity committee, that their documents that they have for announcing this program have a method of translation to the website. Some type of writing in there that refers to if you need to translate, you can go to the website and hit the little button. So they took note of that.
I don't know. I have just a couple of things. I wanted to just alert the board that the EDC, had, finished their books on fiscal '24, and they're allocated $46,000 for grants. There are 8 applicants this year, and they dispersed of that, about $34,800. In addition, they paid for the porta potties that are, through the EDC funds. So they don't still have a reconciliation there. The bicycle commission is on fire and they received that tip grant for the bike racks. They are applying for a CPC feasibility study for safe routes, which is $42,000, very expensive. And they're planning 3 more events, bike rodeo for grades 2 and 4 on August 24th. Senior center ride, they've already done one, they're gonna do another, it was well received, and a slow roll in October. 2 other quick things, the naming policy discussion and the veteran cemetery policy were 2 that were tabled in our review of the policies recently. And those are in the works now, and that would this one and Lorraine on the naming policy and with the new veterans agent, that was taken because we're waiting for the veterans agent to come. So those are the coming forward at some. And finally, we received a lovely magazine from our sister city, Susie Albury, featuring 2 lovely ladies from Scituate. I think can't read it, it's in fact, but this was from our mayor, this is and I have a copy for Miss Curran, I'm sure she's listening. So that's.
Just the Commission on Disabilities, we're doing some work and research, actually, should be talking to the Beach Commission, about 2 things. One, the movie mats, making sure that they're, available through Labor Day, but also, they had some other local, towns actually have the movie mats, and then actually a small ramp that goes into the water to help, folks with disability issues, so we'll look at that down and sort of looking for pricing and things like that. Want to investigate, make sure some folks can move in the water. That correspondence.
We have none.
Nobody's talking to us. Excellent.
We are going to,
I can make something up.
no. We're gonna, I'm gonna table the approval meeting minutes. We did not, move all those on, so we'll skip those for another day and, we have a motion to adjourn sign comments.
Oh, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry.
I think I want to let people know that we have a meeting this Thursday night.
Thursday night.
It is not a public meeting in terms of there are no votes being taken. But if you would like to attend, if you have an interest in what we're talking about, it is open. So,
Yes.
You go to the course of it.
Post, yeah.
and the time, 6,
6.
and the place, Maritime. So, do we want to approve the minutes?
Oh, is that what you just said?
Table those,
Just table.
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 All right.
Chair. Table chair.
Favorable chair.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And signed up.
Thomas, second by Saracen, all those in favor?
Aye.